under my watch that no other grandmother had to go through that. And initially, the ordinance rezoning the stockyard property to commercial only, it passed. However, the mayor vetoed the ordinance because Councilman Roosevelt Johnson and Councilman Everett Hobbs asked him to do so. And once it was vetoed, we did not have the vote to override the veto. The waste plant, it's down in my district. People in Acadian Village and some in Woodside have had to deal with that odor and that smell for years. I'm sure there was some opposition to that, when it was placed there. I probably wasn't living. I don't know, but I'm sure there was some opposition to it. But it was placed there. Other things have been placed in our district where we just didn't want it. However, I'm glad that the councilman stood up with me as my people came to the meetings, and they expressed their desire not to have a Greyhound bus station at Lesser's Grocery on Broadway.
Dr. Bowes, in your opinion, when it comes to respect and indifference toward our community, the 3rd District, how can we change the dynamics?
We need to recapture and value, which is inherently ours. It's okay for other groups to identify, and somehow we shy from it. Those of us who have had the benefit of education and have had the benefit of travel and have had the benefit of, you might literally say, integration. I have some dear friends who are not African Americans who have done wonderful things for me, and we are still very much in contact. But what happened is their values and mine are very similar. So what I think the solution is those of us who are professional need to re-evaluate our values. If we've tossed all that was grandmothers and all that was inherently African American and black because the news media portrays us as the criminal or this hostile and mean thing, and we say, I don't want to have people see me that way, then my comment is act differently. I want them to see me. And I want them to know I'm brown, and I'm not trying to get any brighter, and that whatever features, my nose, my lips, are like my grandmother's, my eyes are like my grandfather. And because I love those people, I love these traits. So when you look at me, I'm not just presenting me. I'm presenting all that was made me. The slavery, yes. If I didn't have a strong great-great-grandmother to survive, I wouldn't be here. So I won't deny slavery. I won't say I loved what happened and how they were treated, but I'm so proud there was a person strong enough to persevere, and I got that strength. That's what I'm going to believe. So if we don't like the image that the majority presents, let us be those presenting the different side. And that's my voice, that those of us who are professional and we represent the African American group, then it is our responsibility, not really our choice in my opinion. It is our responsibility to be heard. Look at me. Look at colleagues of mine. And then I go into the high schools, I go into the summer camps, and I say to the young people, you are my future. And the reason I'm here is because if I can say one thing that you remember and take into the future after I'm gone, then I'm living on. And that's my payment in full. And I think if that focus were greater among the professional African Americans, we could conquer the stereotypes. We could put to rest a lot of the opinions that people have that are adverse to us in general. And then we can capture the attention of our young people and let them know that pants hanging off your waist, your underwear showing, is not the way to go. Who they are following are those who they think made the most money. And they want money. So what they're wanting and how they're going after it is where we have a disjoint. And that's where the responsibility of those of us who do know another way need to tell them.
Is this a black and white issue? Unfortunately, I have to say yes. Although there is an appearance of minority participation in our local government, honesty proves that there's no minority inclusion. Look at the numbers coming out of City Hall on who is getting the contracts with the city. Look at all those tax dollars we continue to pump into the fledgling Fulton. Is this a black and white issue? Yes. White folks and black folks are suffering alike. What kind of challenges do you face as a minority business?
Here in Alexandria, the thing I have found most challenging is breaking into the system here to become a part of a service vendor, for this city. And I'm not by myself with this. I've tried to position myself every place I thought I should be. I'm a part of the Business League. I'm a part of the Economic Development League. I'm a part of the Chamber. I'm a part of the Better Business Bureau because I wanted to be around business people who, was doing things, who maybe was in the system. But what I have found, Jay, is that, in the Business League, in the Economic Development League, which I might add is not minority folk, it's, basically white small businesses, white women-owned businesses. They're having the same problems I'm having. They cannot break into this city structure to be vendors to serve this city. I don't know why. I know the city has a procedure, they have a process, but then one has to ask, why is it that so many of us are feeling we can't be a part of it? Now, I've talked to the procurement officer, I've talked with Mr. Despino, who's quite open about what they do. But once again, bottom line, we cannot break into that system. Where I come from, okay, out of Baton Rouge, out of New Orleans, when the city was not open to everybody, programs were created where there was minimum standards that would ensure that minorities, women, small businesses was a part of the city's service industry.
The citizens of Alexandria are paying a terrible price. The greatest problem we have is our elected officials have no clear vision for our city's future. The taxpayers are burdened with countless unnecessary, fruitless studies, economic programs that aren't even working because there is no perception of what a healthy Alexandria looks like. This permeates into a stagnation on local commerce, socioeconomics, city master plans, and just day-to-day governance. Who is affected? Every taxpayer in Alexandria. Millions of dollars is going on legal fees, millions. Over $1 million in salary and benefits for mayor's staff. What is Jonathan Going's vision for District 3?
For so long, District 3 was the stepchild of the districts. I mean, it's apparent. It's very apparent. I remember when I was running for election at an open forum, Mr. Jim Villard, who ran for councilman at large, I remember him stating in an open forum that he drives through District 3 and he says, we have to bring this area up. So it's not just me saying this or people in my district saying this, it's people from across the city who say that our area needs to come up. Why it hasn't come up? I mean, you apparently you haven't had a voice. The way I met District 3 as councilman will not be the same way when I leave as District 3 councilman. You will be able to notice a significant difference in the way I entered office compared to how I leave office.
We presently have a mayor that has less than 2 years in office, and you start to hold that up and say, hey, guess what? In 2 years, we get to elect us somebody who will listen.